5 World Hot News You Should Know from June 7 to June 10 of 2021. Welcome to VIETUS 1040 channel, the world's hot news. Today we would like to share 5 world hot news that you should know from June 7 to June 10 of 2021 as follows. Newsletter 1. The French president was slapped while walking. Newsletter 2. Chinese students hold university president hostage. Newsletter 3. Fishermen in South Carolina caught an extremely rare giant grouper weighing nearly 2 pounds. Newsletter 4. The U.S. Senate has passed a bill to spend $200 billion to invest in the high-tech sector to counter China. Newsletter 5. President Biden begins an 8-day trip to Europe and will meet with Putin. Here are the details of the newsletters. Newsletter 1. The French president was slapped while walking. One video circulating on social media shows Mr. Macron in a shirt walking towards a crowd standing behind metal barricades. The French president reached out to a man wearing glasses and a mask in a green t-shirt. At this moment, the man shouted, "Down with Macronism," and slapped the French president in the face. One of Macron's bodyguards immediately subdued the suspect, while another bodyguard took him away. However, details said Mr. Macron remained near the crowd for a few seconds and appeared to be talking to someone on the other side of the barricade. French President Emmanuel Macron's bodyguards quickly knocked the subject to the ground and took Macron away. 2 people were arrested in connection with the incident, according to the SMTV and RMC. The shocking incident happened while Mr. Macron was visiting the Drôme region. Here, he met with restaurant owners and students to talk about how life is returning to normal after the COVID-19 pandemic. More detailed information revealed that the office of the French president confirmed that someone tried to hit Mr. Macron but did not divulge any further details. The bodyguard also confirmed a man tried to slap the French president. The man's identity is unknown at this time. While slapping the president, he was heard shouting, "Montjoie Saint-Denis." This is the shout-out of the French army when the country was still in the monarchy period. After the incident, the French president spoke out about being slapped while he was visiting a suburb in the south of France. He said that "I was fine. We need to get this right. In my opinion, this is just an isolated incident. Do not let particular events or extremist individuals dominate public opinion, because this is not worthy." He also said the above did not make him falter. Newsletter 2. Chinese students hold university president hostage. The hottest news is that many students studying at Nanjing Normal University recently have been dissatisfied with a strategy of merging independent colleges and vocational colleges proposed by the school's management board when they think the merger will make their diplomas worthless. So big, unexpected incident happened at this school. Right in the meeting held on the afternoon of June 6, 2021, the students controlled and arrested the school president. More detailed reports said the protests broke out after the school's leadership planned to merge with a vocational college, angering students and fear of their diplomas being devalued in the market. The labor market is very competitive. Protests against the merger plan attracted thousands of students. The controversial merger plan, announced by the Jiangsu Department of Education in March, is based on a directive from China's Ministry of Education to convert private colleges into vocational schools. The plan was met with fierce reaction from students because private school fees are very high and vocational school certificates are considered less honorable than colleges. Despite the school's president trying to explain to the students in detail about the policy of merging academies, the students still ignored and kept the president in the meeting room for nearly 30 hours. The authorities, after receiving the news, went to the scene and asked the students to immediately release the hostages. However, many students not only did not comply with a request to release the person, but also acted against the law enforcement officer, forcing the police officers to use force to rescue the director. Currently, it is reported that the authorities of Nanjing City, China have arrested a number of student mob leaders to conduct an investigation, thereby handling the case in accordance with Chinese law. Newsletter 3. Fishermen in South Carolina caught an extremely rare giant grouper weighing nearly 2 pounds. One news that has caught the attention of fishing fans is that Captain Richard Politzer and his fishermen caught a more than 180 kilograms grouper in Beaufort County, South Carolina last week. Details say it took them an hour to pull the grouper out of the water. It is said that this is the first Goliath grouper to be successfully fished by fishermen in the area. Dedicated a lifetime in the ocean to have such a moment, Politzer said. This is the first Goliath grouper caught in Beaufort County, as far as I know. Fishermen describe the grouper as having a brown or yellow body with black spots on the head and fins. They have wide jaws, rounded caudal fins, and some have stripes on the sides of the body. The nearly 2-pound grouper floating in the water made the fishermen unable to contain their excitement. The general news is that the grouper weighs about 180 kilograms and is more than 2 meters long. The Goliath grouper is not native to South Carolina. They live mainly in tropical waters around Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, the Bahamas, along the coasts of Brazil and the Caribbean. Politzer insists he and his crew followed local and national regulations, releasing the giant grouper into the water. The Goliath grouper is a protected creature. No one is allowed to bring them back to shore. Be aware that the laws of many states in the United States prohibit the butchering of Goliath grouper. Anyone who catches them must release them into the wild. The Goliath grouper was thought to be extinct in the 1990s in the U.S. because of overhunting and habitat loss. In recent years, the Goliath grouper is gradually reappearing, no longer on the list of creatures of interest in the U.S. Newsletter 4. The U.S. Senate has passed a bill to spend $200 billion to invest in the high-tech sector to counter China. The latest news is that the U.S. Senate has approved more than $200 billion in funding to invest in the high-tech segment to help U.S. technology companies gain an advantage in the competition with Chinese rivals amid a lack of money. Microchip shortage globally. With 68 votes in favor and 32 against, the U.S. Senate passed the Competition and Innovation Act of 2021, USICA, on June 8. This is a bill to support U.S. chip manufacturers and scientific research activities. Accordingly, this bill will spend $200 billion USD, of which nearly $120 billion USD will be for science and technology development and about $53 billion USD for semiconductor chip production and research. The rest is for industrial sectors. Other high-tech. Better to know, the USICA bill calls for the development of diverse programs and actions to promote innovation and American leadership in key technology areas such as artificial intelligence and robotics, or high-performance computing. Observers say this is one of the few bills to be negotiated on a bipartisan basis because it has the support of both Democrats and Republicans in the U.S. Newsletter 5. President Biden begins an 8-day trip to Europe and will meet with Putin. According to ABC News, on the morning of June 9, U.S. time, evening of the same day, in Vietnam time, U.S. President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden boarded Air Force One to leave the U.S. to begin their tour. First foreign country since he took office, with a destination being Europe. The general news is that the trip lasts 8 days and it will be a very busy week for President Biden with a series of conferences such as the Summit, G7, June 11 to June 13 in UK, NATO and EU, June 14 in Belgium, meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, June 16 in Switzerland. In a series of events, the upcoming meeting between Mr. Biden and Mr. Putin has received the most attention. The press said that with this trip, Mr. Biden will strive and hope to regain America's place on the world stage, with allies standing by his side and present him as a leader of the free world. This video here is the end. Thank you for your follow-up attention. If you find that the channel's video is useful, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and support the channel. Thank you very much and see you again in the next channel video.